Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, bringing you the top stories from Israel and surrounds every Monday to Thursday. You can find us on our Facebook page at Lottel's site. While you are there, we really encourage you to join our community by clicking on the like or follow buttons, and also join our community on YouTube. Our channel is the Israel Brief, and to join us, all you have to do is click on the red subscribe button. So let's get into today's top stories on this very, very solemn day here in Israel as we commemorate Yom HaZikaron, the memorial day for fallen soldiers and victims of terror. Now, it began last night with a siren followed by a ceremony at the Kotel, the Wailing Wall, attended by bereaved families and members of the security establishment, and opened up by our President Reuven Rivlin in his last speech as president during Yom HaZikaron. He spoke very, very movingly in an emotional speech, addressing bereaved families and speaking at least 3 times for the importance of unity. He said unity, 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 and spoke of the tremendous sacrifice by so many for us to have the incredible state of Israel, and also touched a little on his experience serving in the army and losing many loved ones. He was followed by the IDF Ramatkal, the Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi, who spoke about the commitment of the IDF to the people and the security of Israel, and the tremendous price and sacrifice laid down by many so that we have this incredible country. And today, another siren rang out at 11 o'clock, signaling the start of ceremonies around the country. And this year, at least, bereaved families were able to visit their fallen in cemeteries around Israel. This, unfortunately, they were unable to do last year this time because we were in the middle of the global pandemic, and families couldn't visit their loved ones, which caused them a lot of distress. However, this year they have been able to do that and visit their fallen, and as well as the victims of terror. And this while members of the IDF stand sentinel at the graves of our fallen. Israel today mourns 23,928 fallen soldiers since the beginning of the State of Israel, and 3,158 victims of terror. It is our prayer that all of their memories may continue to be blessed from where they sit in their heavenly perch, continue to stand guard over this country and her people. We now turn to the United States, and the Biden administration have said that they will approve a $23 billion sale of F-35s to the United Arab Emirates, which was done as part of the Abraham Accords under the Trump administration. However, the UAE will only likely take delivery of the F-35s in 2025. And finally, in a few hours' time, Israel will change from somber mourning to absolute joy and celebration as we light the flame at 8 o'clock tonight, signaling the start of Yom HaAtzmaut, Independence Day. And Israel, our ancient biblical homeland, 73 years young this year, has never looked better. It has been quite an extraordinary year. We're going to look back at that in a minute, but it is a feeling that is quite difficult to put into words, that moment that we switch over from profound mourning to that of absolute joyous celebration. And when these days were formulated by the government at the start of the modern state, it was done intentionally so that we would understand the price that we have paid to have the state of Israel. And that switch over is exquisite, it's exceptional, and it is one rooted in absolute pleasure. So let's take a look back on the last year, a year that Israel, like other countries around the world, has endured the global pandemic, and we have started to emerge. In fact, we will be lifting the last remaining restrictions within the coming weeks. But we've come out of it with over 6,000 people that we have lost to the virus, but also leading the world in our historic rollout program, our historic rollout vaccination program. We have been the laboratory of the world as countries globally have looked at Israel to see how we have rolled out this vaccine and how we have started to lift out and open our economy successfully. It has also been a tumultuous year politically, with 2 elections at least in the last year, and it remains to be seen whether in the coming days if we are going to be able to break that political deadlock. We've had 4 elections in 2 years, 2 in the last year, and we certainly don't want to go to a situation where we go to another set of elections. But the highlight has to be the absolute historical signing of the Abraham Accords, which has seen peace and normalization being recognized and signed between Israel, with the help of the United States, and countries like the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, the Sudan, Morocco, and a little country that many people haven't heard about, and while they're not part of the Abraham Accords, the Kingdom of Bhutan, they have formally recognized Israel, as has Kosovo, moving their embassy to Jerusalem, and we know that many others will follow soon. It's an amazing moment for this country, and we look forward to that circle of peace opening wider and wider. And if you have been playing normalization bingo like we have here at the Israel Brief, the countries we are hoping to normalize with, although this is not official, are countries like Saudi Arabia, maybe Oman. Will we see as far as Asia? Will we see more African countries? What we do know is that in this Israel's 73rd year, we have seen remarkable strides forward for peace. And of course, this comes as Israel continues to innovate and lead the world in so many different fields. And as we approach our 73rd birthday, we'll go back to those time-honored pastimes tomorrow, ala aish, or barbecues around the country, and of course the annual flyover of planes throughout Israel's history. Last year a small tribute was given just to frontline medical staff. This year the country will be able to see our jets, our El Al planes, and various others flying proudly across our skies in a salute to the people and the state of Israel. And we'll be back tomorrow to give you a special Yom HaAtzmaut update on the day. But I'm going to end this by saying Ulteferet Yisrael, to the glory of Israel. And a reminder, if you want those details where you can find us, we have a website at www.layoftheland.online. There is quite a bit of Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut coverage. You won't want to miss that. It will also be up on our Facebook page at Lottel Site. A reminder to join our community by liking, following, and sharing our content. We're on Twitter at layoftheland5. Follow us there. Interact with us sometimes. We love it when you do. And our YouTube channel at The Israel Brief. Click on that red subscribe button. So all that remains is for me to wish you Chag HaAtzmaut Sameach right here from Modi'in in the center of Israel. This is the Israel Brief. I'm Rolene Marks, and we'll chat again tomorrow.